Alright, hey guys, it's me. Welcome back to my channel, TMNJ. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I want to talk about lucid dreaming. Oh my god, I just got out of a lucid dream too. I was incredibly lucid. See, when I look at it as the more your levels of consciousness rise, the more your lucidity rises. Now, what lucid dreaming is simply, sorry, my bad. It simply is becoming aware, being aware in a dream, literally incredibly aware. Now, the awareness I just got to was incredible because, so this is what happened, right? So I was like, I'm gonna go to sleep, right? Because I'm tired. I just got done school. I'm kind of tired, and sorry, I literally just woke up and my eyes are kind of irritating me. Shit. And I'm alright, cool. So what happens is in this lucid dream, I begin by I remember speaking to my little cousin, and it felt incredibly real, and I was like, I'm not astral traveling, am I? Like in the dream, it was that loose. I was that aware that this is this is not an astral traveling experience, right? Like there couldn't be, there's no way it could be an astral traveling experience, and I'm like, no, it's not. And then what happened? I remember being in some sort of place, and it was like in school, and I was watching some show. I was watching Hellsing Ultimate, basically, or Hellsing, one of the two. No, I was watching Hellsing, not Hellsing Ultimate, and it was like for some sort of assignment. And I remember the guy saying in the dream how because I was in mind you, I was in the business first, and I was in the place. In the business, the guy was saying how like basically people who he was saying something, I don't really recall his words, but he was showing us some sort of counter, like people to get hired towards the job he would to attract, which was racist, fucked up individuals. Well, not ignorant. Well, I couldn't say fucked up. More so ignorant individuals who were very what's the word for it? Just ignorant, very closed-minded, not educated. Just yeah. And I'm like, why am I going towards individuals like this? Like this is interesting, right? And it was like a map of people. When he was saying people like this, that is people we go towards. And I'm like, these are racist individuals. Why would we go towards uneducated people? And he was like, because this is like what the business inquires. And I'm like, hmm, okay, sure, okay, I understand. And then I remember being like sitting down and like this guy, I was eating some sort of food, and this guy goes on ahead, and like I think he was like a partner of mine in the like a lab partner type thing, and he wasn't a friend of mine, but we were on one computer. We were on one computer, right? And there was other students too on like they're all two like pairs of two. And what happened is, we're watching like Hellsing. It's an anime. It's really good. Well, to me, it's really good. And what happened is when we were watching this shit, it paused, and I'm like, damn it. And I was like, oh, that was so loud. And God, I was like, oh, that was so loud. Like, I hope the teacher didn't hear me, right? And then what happens is he's like, trying to get it back up, and I'm like, all right, cool. He's like eating and all, like he's like, I have like this dipping sauce, like I should say, like in my food in a sense, like, cause mind you, I was like practically done eating, but I had this white sort of sauce. No, it was like ranch dressing, more so to say. And I was like, all right, cool, bro. No, no, like blue cheese, more so to say blue cheese, right? And I'm like, all right, cool, right? So he's like dipping his sauce into my bad. He's dipping his piece of food into, well, no, it looked like a wing, some sort of wing, into my sauce, and he's like looking at me like, is this okay? I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, I don't give, like, I'm done eating. Like, I don't give a shit. Do what you want. He's like, all right, cool. He then gets up. Like, after he's done, he gets up to go do something. And I'm like, all right, cool, bro. Right? And so I'm like incredibly tired. I'm like, all right, cool, bro. And oh my God, this shit was hilarious. So then I'm like, okay. And he leaves, right? But he has his hand out to like, high five, but I'm like, I like fist bump him. And I see like an acquaintance of mine, Josh Blizzard, actually, his name was. And I see him, and I'm like, hey. And he's like a little beard and all, and I'm like, ooh, I see you, bro, I see you. And then I get into his classroom. Yeah, now here's where it gets odd. I notice when I'm lucid, I'm always from first person point of view, right? And I was high. I mean, I was like I like not smoking, like ate edibles sort of high. And like if anyone who watches my videos, if anyone who smoked or done any sort of psychedelics understands how high you get when you eat edibles, I was that high. And at first I'm like in my house where I'm seeing things like in perspective, like being home, or rather being in my grandmother's house, so to say. And I'm like looking at things like I'm like looking at like the room and like, bro, what's going on? Like it feels like when you see those parties and people are on like LSD, right, on acid, and like, things are just going like fast, like quick in motion, right? It felt like that, and I was like, bro, why does it feel so like blurry? Why is everything going so fast? That was literally, I was like, bro, what's going on right now? Like, I'm like, I feel too high. I felt so fucking high. I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on right now? I'm like, I'm looking at this, I'm looking this way, I'm looking that way. I'm in a dark room too, and I'm like, bro, what's going on? That was literally me, right? And my aunt comes in, and I'm like trying to open the door for my aunt. She was like, "Hey, Taras, can I get in?" And I'm like, "Give me like 1 second." Like I feel drunk and high. I feel crossfaded, literally. And mind you, whenever I get crossfaded, it's not a good thing because bad things happen when I get crossfaded. I throw up and on. It's not good at all. And mind you, is why I stopped drinking for a reason. Plus, drinking doesn't really aid you in any sort of way. It kind of stops. It doesn't mess up your progress in spirituality, no, but it just or in your mind, but it just deranges your personality because you can either become angry or more emotional or more derogatory or more hormonal when you're drunk, literally, which is messed up. So your control over things is limited basically. You don't really have that much control over things as you would when you're sober or when you're high at times. But even when you're high at times, you can still control your actions. Literally, it's possible. It's all a choice. But when you're drunk, that is different. That is entirely when you're drinking. That is entirely different. That is like I've cried while drunk. I've done stupid shit while drunk. It's not funny. It's not fun. Um, Now what happened is my aunt opens the room door, right? Rather, I open the room door and I'm like, hey. And she gives me like something. And I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, mind you, it's so bright. Like the lights are just like, when you're like crossfaded and you look at the lights, when you're drunk, you look at the lights and they're so damn bright to you. That's how the fuck if I'm like, damn, why are they so bright? Literally, they weren't even that bright. And then I remember, what? Because I just got out of this. I was in school, right? Back in school. Here's the funny part, but I'm back in school. And I'm like looking around because it seems like the classroom is like cleared. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta drink this water 'cause my throat is like so dry right now. I don't know why. Sorry about that. No, but yeah, and I'm looking around and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, I do virtual school. Why the fuck am I in physical school? I look at the time, right? Like, it says 8:32, so I'm like, okay, so people will begin switching classes. I'm looking like this shit doesn't make any sense. Like, this is not making any sort of fucking sense. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, why am I in school? And I look over and I see my boss, and I'm like, why are you fucking in my class? Like, why the fuck are you in my class for? That was my question in my mind. Like, but then I'm like, you know what? Don't even ask. There's no point in asking. And but she looked younger though, a bit younger. And I was like, interesting. And what happens is, right? I'm like, all right, cool. And for some reason I was like afraid to ask what was going on, but I literally was just by looking around, I was like getting awareness, just looking at the time, and I was like, oh, so like people switch classes. Um, it's time to get to whatever class, and I'm like, hold up a second, why am I in physical school for? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm literally like, hey, mind you, it feels so real to me. I'm like, why am I in physical school for? What's going on? And I'm like, hold on a second. And like my ego is like conscious and like consciously like there. And I'm like, nah, I'm like, you gotta get to class, bro. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean I gotta get to class? Why the fuck am I here for? And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, hold up a second. This is a dream, right? I was like, this is a dream, isn't it? I'm like, it has to be a dream. I literally was like, I said that to myself. I was like, bro, this is a dream, right? And it's funny when you say it to yourself in your mind in the dream, and like you're literally saying it to yourself, and it's like, this is a dream, right? And I felt still so incredibly high. I was like, okay, cool. And then mind you, see, it was one of those dreams where you wake up and you're in the fucking dream. It was one of those dreams, which is when I've done it, but I've had dreams like that before when I was consciously aware when I was lucid, but it was when I was incredibly depressed and it was not fun at all because it's like I had dreams where it's like you're in a dream of a dream of a dream of a dream of a dream. So you're waking up in another dream and another dream and another dream and another dream. That shit can be incredibly fucking terrifying. You just don't, that when you wake up, you don't want to go back to sleep. You don't go back to sleep at all. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? Now, with me, I got up and I'm thinking, okay, I get up right. I'm like, I'm in bed. I was not in my bed. I was in another dream. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? So I'm like, you know what? You know what? I was like, fuck it. I'm like, if I'm lucid, I'm gonna fly. This is the truth. I was like, if I'm lucid, I'm gonna go ahead and fly. I'm gonna go ahead and fly. So I literally went ahead, right? And I started just like doing this. Like I literally was like, and I was like, you got this. I'm like, you can fly. Like, it might not be astral projection, but you can fly. And believe it or not, I actually felt like I was flying because I actually was flying to a certain degree, right? And I had my eyes closed too. And I was like, bro, why are your eyes closed? We're doing this. Like, open your eyes. And I'm like, no. I got this. And I felt like a fish. I felt like a literal fish, like, like fish, like, like just turning around basically. And I was like, bro, why is this not happening? I felt like I was off gravity, but I was a fish. And I was like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted. And then I was seeing these like you you guys have seen Harry Potter, right? They were like those gold things from Harry Potter, those black ghost like things from Harry Potter that would take your soul, basically. And it was so odd because these things were like powerful ass mages, dark mages, mind you. And I was like, there was like three of them, and I'm like, why the fuck am I seeing these things when my eyes are closed? Interesting, right? And then I get a like I'm like, all right, cool. I saw like I open my eyes because like I'm being told like yo you can open your eyes. I'm like okay, I open my eyes and I literally like I'm dead ass hung over my bed. Like, I mean, I'm literally, when like in those movies where like, no, when you're a kid, right, and you literally like you think something's under your bed, which something usually is under your bed to begin with. You just can't see it. Sometimes you can see it. Sometimes you can just feel it out. But something's under your bed. You're not losing it when you're a kid. You're very sensitive. You're very energy sensitive, and you're very aware when you're a kid because you're at your purest forms of higher understanding within self. Understand that. So when you're a kid and you say there's something in my closet or something under my bed, your parents say there's nothing under your bed because they just can't see shit and they're on some bullshit. There's something under your bed or in your closet. You trust me, you're correct. Trust me. Um, when it comes down to it though, no, I was like that. I was like, I literally was hung over my bed. Like I was looking under it and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I'm like, why am I hung over my bed? And I'm seeing like shit underneath like my bed too, and I'm like, and it's like, mind you, the room was like, mind you, see, here's the funny part, right? See, my room, like, you see the ground how it's like basically like well not cardboard, but see that? So for me, the ground was fucking white, like it was like cement white. Is that the best way to word it? I don't think so. Like marble white, yeah, marble white. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And then I'm like, this shit doesn't make sense. I'm like, why am I in a marble white room? Like, and it looked like there was like two beds, and I'm like one bed wasn't mine. The other one I was in was mine, and I'm like, why do these sheets look exactly the same from this bed to the next? Like, who the fuck's in that bed? And I was like, you know what? There's no point in asking these absurd questions. There's no point where you're not gonna get an answer to it. There's no point. And so I'm like, all right, cool, just relaxing at that point. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just done. And that's when I just wake up and I'm like, that's when I get up. I'm like, okay, so I'm actually in reality this time. Because I was, the first time I was like, I feel incredible. Like something feels off. Something feels really off. Second time, I feel incredibly high. Like second time I'm meeting. Third time, I feel incredibly. I mean, immeasurably high and just crossfaded, just high out of my mind. Like I mean, just oh my god, it was so bad. Fourth time, I'm still kind of high, but I'm in a classroom. And I'm like, something isn't adding up. I just got done school. I'm like, why would I? My thought process was, why would I take the bus to school if I'm thinking like, if I was high, why would I take the bus to school instead of just remaining virtual? What common sense does that make to take the bus to school while I'm fried out of my mind? And I'm like, something isn't right. This shit doesn't feel real. Oh, this is a fucking dream. Now, see, it's funny when you honestly realize you're in a dream. Even when you're that conscious, you're that lucid, you're that consciously aware that you're in a dream. And you literally say it to yourself aloud that you're in a fucking dream. Literally. Um, so that was my lucid experience. That was honestly speaking, that was the second time. The first time I was that lucid was when me and my ex separated, and I was like flying in the dream. I mean, like literally like a bird, like you know, how we think flying goes for them. But yeah, this was the second time I've been this lucid in a dream that I'm literally like controlling shit with my thoughts. That I'm like, you know what? I'm lucid. I'm gonna do this. I'm actually able to have some control. But here's the thing, though: when you're not lucid, you're able to actually project more likely, though. That's the thing. So, which says my levels of consciousness are rising to a degree that I'll be able to actually project. So, yay! um, but for anyone who wants to practice lucidity or wants to learn how to lucid dream or whatever the hell, if you want to put a comment in the comment section, ask whatever the hell, email me, whatever, something, go ahead, feel free to. I'll respond to any and all of you. And yeah, I just woke up from that. That was incredibly fascinating. I didn't expect that at all. I'm like incredibly proud of myself right now. Incredibly just like, yeah, I could accomplish something amazing. Um, but yeah, and I love you guys. And stay tuned for some more videos. I'll probably be doing some more painting videos soon. I'll probably be doing a guided meditation video. Um, and yeah, I love you guys. Stay safe. Well, be safe and stay safe. Um, mm, mm, mm. It's a beautiful day today too. It's currently what? Oh, my bad. 10:51 a.m. So I was asleep for. It doesn't matter how long I was asleep for. I was asleep for like maybe, yeah, sometime. But yeah. So no, it was like 30 minutes actually. I was asleep for 30 minutes. Right about that happened all in 30 minutes. That's interesting. That's scary. That's terrifyingly interesting. Interesting. But with that being said, I love you guys. Subscribe for more. Stay tuned for more videos. Um, yeah. And I don't think there's any more to say. My channel is TMNJ. My name is Taras Jane. Japanese for goodbye.